Material Components, Season 2, Episode 48, Noble Details. Greetings and welcome to Material Components, the actual play RPG show all about a galaxy of magic and the adventurers who live there. I am your humble dragon master, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, are my stalwart adventurers. Hey adventurers, thanks for being here.
Oh, heck yeah.
Woohoo!
Love it.
Pew 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 pew. Yeah. Finger guns.
Hey, everybody. I am Olivia, and I'm playing Florian of Akalar.
I am Elliot, and I am playing Shay.
I am Michael, and I am playing Oswald Octavian Theophilus III.
And I'm Reed, and I'll be playing Amari.
Indeed. And of course, before we begin today's session, I have to ask the same question I ask every time, and that is, Elliot, do you remember what happened last time?
I do.
Oh, good.
We finally got back to the Storm's Repose. It's been a long-ass mission. I think we were away for, like, 6
Months.
turn spans or something? Yeah.
It's closer to 4, but yeah.
4? Okay. We popped into our secret base, opting to not come in through the front door, kind of maintain the element of surprise. Kala got in contact with us and came to meet us in our secret base. We kind of revealed that to her and caught her up on some stuff, but not all of it, because we wanted to have this meeting first to kind of make sure that everything was on the table. There might have been some musker dust on the ship. It's probably fine though.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come up again.
No.
I don't see Mike doing that to us, honestly.
This just in on Asclipsis, giant
Why would
plant
it be there?
lizards. We don't know.
Paula helped us actually set up the meeting with Vectoria Silvaro under the guise of meeting with the Archproctor in a kind of out-of-the-way rental bar. And when we got there, we kind of went in ahead of her to kind of get everything set up, and yeah. And she showed up, and we put all our cards on the table, showed her the kind of amalgamation of all the clips and the information that we've been able to get recorded through Oswald and the stuff that he and I have been able to decode. And we just showed her all the really horrible shit that House Silvaro, Aegis Tech Solutions has been doing. Because we trusted that she wants to do good, like Mr. Zinn said.
And if she didn't,
seems...
we'd kick her into space.
Yes, also, that was the backup plan.
Yeah.
That was the backup plan?
Oh, we didn't. Oh,
okay, so I'm
we should
listening.
have mentioned that.
I'm listening to like that playlist that Cole put in the chat a million years ago, and in the song that's on right now, it had a laugh track right as as I said, yeah, that was the backup plan. That was pretty good. Yeah, so no, she seems pretty horrified at what's going on, and that's kind of where we ended last session, so hopefully everything's going looking good for us. Everything's coming up Oracle 0.
Yes, indeed. As Vectoria Silvaro has subjected herself several times now to the highlight reel of terrible things that Aegis Tech Solutions has done in the name of Project Chimera, whatever that ultimately ends up being. She did briefly tell you about the situation she had found herself in when dealing with the higher-ups of the Silvaro family and those related to Aegis Tech Solutions specifically. She seemed to be a little more in the dark about precisely what it was you had all done and the situation you had found yourselves in, but given the scope of the information she now possesses, it seems as though she has had a change of heart, at least in terms of what she's willing to be ignorant of when Aegis Tech Solutions is concerned, and specifically when it comes to the four of you, Oracle Zero. She sits now at one of the high faux leather chairs that is near the back of this little lounge bar facility that is locked down but for the four of you and presumably anyone who would have the access code to this place, which as far as you're aware is only those with kind of a scheduled invite. And at this moment it would include the proctor, Jalvin Frost, but he is at least semi-aware of what's happening here.
Yeah.
And so the four of you find yourselves sitting or standing nearby as Vectoria Silvaro places the datapad that she'd been handed down onto one of the low tables near the chair, sliding it back towards you, Oswald. Her long, somewhat sharp features are drawn and pensive. She has dark black hair that comes down to just below the line of her chin on the left side, and it kind of is cropped shorter on the right side, coming up to just above the ear. And she has these fine, almost violet eyes that are noteworthy because it's a rare trait among Midrians, is that color of eye. And she stares solemnly into the middle distance with this drawn expression and asks you the question that we ended on last time, which is, so what comes next?
Well, that is an excellent question. We weren't really sure how we were going to proceed after this conversation because we didn't fully know how the conversation was going to go. But what we can say is that Shay and I have been looking through a large amount of information that we had discovered, I believe on Talgan 3, is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow, my memory's coming in. But there's a lot, and we've only managed to decipher a small amount at this point, but yes, suppose we should discuss it. At this point, now you are aware that we are alive, but it doesn't seem like many others on the ship are aware of it. Is this something we want to keep going, or shall we return?
To be completely transparent, to continue being completely transparent, our goal was to flip you. When we had a conversation with Mr. Zinn, did he tell us to do that in our meeting with him or during one of our hollow conversations? I don't quite remember.
I believe one of the hollow conversations.
Mm-hmm. Okay. While we were out on our mission, we had a conversation with him. Oh, because it was right after we were presumed dead. Right.
Yep.
He advised us to try to flip you. We don't know quite if the goal there was to have us continue to appear dead, or...
Oh. Yes, that... This will... As far as my family is concerned, the four of you were reported missing, presumed dead. You're saying the proctor was aware otherwise?
Yeah, we let him know, and Mr. Zinn knows, and yeah.
Interesting. I'm uncertain if he... Well, certain notices were sent out to your next of kin, notifying them of the situation.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Oh, that's...
Of course they were. Okay.
Oh, good.
Pretty sure I didn't put down any emergency contacts.
It was easier for some of you than others.
Wait, so you actually did send something somewhere for me?
Yes? I'm not the one who handled that particular
I didn't
job.
put down anybody.
You would have to ask...
I'm gonna.
You'd have to ask the Sapient Resources Manager. I don't actually know.
I'm going to. Fucking Sapient Resources.
But...
what is their name? Sapient Resources Manager. I just want to know where to find them and exactly what they sent.
Oh, yeah. So, right. Okay. So we are going to come out as alive. That's not the right phrasing for that.
I mean...
Preferably, yeah.
I suppose, yes. This is... Oh dear.
The administrator of Sapient Resources is a woman by the name of Rigella. Rigella Goodbody.
Oh, Goodbody. God damn it.
That's not bad.
She, I assume, had all the information for sending your next of kin notices of your disappearance and whatnot. Exactly what the form of the letter was sent to, I don't know. But if you want those people informed otherwise, that can be handled.
Okay. So we are going to return as living. Return from the dead.
I think what you do next kind of depends on what you were doing in the first place. Like, was your goal like getting in with your family? Literally, it was just offing us, and then that was going to get you good with them, or were you doing something else?
I was told to direct you towards situations that might result in your more dangerous situations that a finder team might have regardless, but perhaps the four of you wouldn't have been assigned to otherwise. Either positions of greater danger or exposure, and I did not ask any more questions beyond that.
Well,
I assumed that with this situation ended, my branch of the family's reputation might be mended some, and I would be left alone.
If, let's say, we theoretically stayed disappeared or deceased, would that perhaps give you an avenue to get in closer with these other branches of the family? It might be useful for us to have somebody on the inside.
Is that something... maybe? I don't know. I've never... When my great-grandmother was banished in all but name, my line of the family are Silvaros in name only, essentially. We managed to survive by working and living on the outskirts of the Empire. Doing this has secured a reunification of the Silvaro lines, and if that means I am invited to join the house's councils, I would be shocked. I am a backwater fifth cousin of the direct matrilineal line. I am not some... I think I am 87th in line to be head of House Silvaro.
Gotta do some pruning.
So we
then.
just have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this when we were on our way. Like, do you want help with that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I
The
told you
l-
guys she wouldn't.
The
Yeah.
less I am entangled in imperial politics, the better. It sounds ghastly. But if House Silvaro isn't actively attempting to sabotage my immediate family's well-being and future as they have been for the last 300 years, obviously I was willing to compromise certain things about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should probably talk to someone about that.
There's excellent therapy services on board. So, I think us staying dead isn't the way to go, if that's the case. No offense, it doesn't sound like you're a player, really. Like, I think maybe the best we could hope for is we come back and she keeps sending us on quote unquote dangerous missions,
Yeah,
and
but
that
if we
just
could,
keeps Aegis Tech off our back.
tailor that so that they're not as deadly, because we've been doing a pretty good job so far, but god damn it, if you put us in a ship with another fucking vampire, I
Bring it on.
swear.
I mean, or at least tell us that that's on board first, so we could
I
Yeah,
can take
I mean,
that
it's a
from
hard,
the
it's a
world.
hard no from me.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
that's.
I honestly did not know the vampire was on that ship.
Oh, great!
I
I
mean,
knew it had
that's-
been infected by the undead, but the fact that
Vampires
Wait,
are
who's-
something else
cool.
entirely.
Question. Who's we knew it had been infected with the undead?
I had been informed by my contact, the person who had reached out to me from my family.
Mm-hmm.
And they had informed me of certain opportunities at our mission sites.
And that was the spouse of the head of the Silvaro family? Or was it someone
Yes.
else?
Octavia Silvaro is the head of House
Mhm.
Silvaro, but her husband is the president and CEO of Aegis Tech Solutions.
Okay.
Sorry, what was her husband's name?
Her husband's name was... Should have had this ready to go.
Jonathan.
I thought you already
Yeah,
said it.
yeah.
Whoops.
I did... I've said it before, I just don't have it directly in front of me. His name is...
Trilbus.
Cromwell.
What
Josius
Cromwell.
Oh, that's
Marcus Silvaro.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's something British and dumb.
It could be. Hey, it could be more dumb. It could be Crom bad, or Crom not very good.
It's true.
Read.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it!
Yep.
That
Thank you for
joke was
cultivating
Crom
the
not very
story.
good.
Yeah. The look on Elliot's face is just
Yeah.
supreme disapproval. It sustains me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, I guess. That's how your goddamn skin stays so clear, then Jesus.
Oh, it's mostly lasers, actually.
Oh, the lasers. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Who was talking? Was it me?
No, it was me.
Okay.
I asked who was pulling the strings, like
Oh, okay.
who the contact was. I just want to make sure, because in the last session, it had been brought up that Cromwell was the one who had kind of brought forth the idea of bringing Silvaro's branch of the family back in to kind of like the good graces. But I wanted to make sure that was the exact same person that was also the point of contact for
Okay.
the like mission specific danger stuff.
He never told me what it was that you found on Talgon 3, or anything to do with, and she'll gesture towards the datapad.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
Project Chimera.
yeah, to be honest, we're not even really entirely sure what we found either. Other than that it was super bad.
All I can surmise is that what you found is something he did not want to see the light of day. And he was willing to reinstate my branch of the family and get you all killed to hide. And she'll look nervously back towards the datapad. Hide that. Or at least whatever that is trying to build.
Mike.
Could you? Oh, go ahead, Elliot.
So one of the things that Oswald and Shay have been able to get out of the data pad is locations of certain secret bases, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how long is that list? Is it like super long, or is it only like max like 15 or 20?
It caps out at around like 70.
70, okay.
It's big, but it's not. It could be bigger.
It could be bigger.
In a galaxy, yeah.
So, and I'll say this in my character voice. So, we have a list of. That's one of the things we've been able to get off of the information we found of these Aegis Tech bases. Now, I think something that would be an interesting thought is that the kind of wherever we go for, just the Coal Foundation in general, like if it is a place that is near or has one of these locations on it, that you send us on a mission, but what we really do is see what that's all about. That was the thought I was having. I know that not all of them are abandoned, so it could be difficult to...
Which might play into that sending us to dangerous places. It seems like every place we've been to that has Aegis Tech info is deadly in one way or another.
I mean, this also just boils down to if we keep messing with their stuff, they're just going to send hit squads after us.
Yeah, that's also...
It's weird that they haven't done that before, really. I mean, there was that
Except
one
for
guy.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like one guy.
Yeah, and one time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's see here. The hit happened on
Talgan
Esclipse. Talgan 3? Esclipse?
Yeah,
Talgan
when
3?
we were escaping in the...
Nuh-uh.
No, that was
boat or
Esclipsis,
whatever.
right?
Yeah, it was Esclipsis. So it happened after the first
No, that
planet.
was...
Wait.
Yeah, that was Esclipsis.
No, it was Talgan 3.
No, it wasn't.
When
It was
were
Talgan
trying to
3.
escape from the other wizard.
Yeah.
Because the moon and the... Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did
Okay,
go
so that was on the-
side.
Right.
Right.
The second time we dealt with them was we went into their own kind of secret base and dealt with those forces there. So
Yeah, so that wasn't a hit squad. It was just the fucking horrible cyborg guards.
Right. So who knows if they had sent anyone after us. We just didn't run into them in those instances. And then everything else hasn't intersected with their secret moon bases.
Yeah.
All I know is that you being on the Storm's Repose seemed to be an impediment to whatever plans Cromwell had to see you hurt or killed. I don't know why.
Oh,
He made it seem very important that you were not near the Storm's Repose whenever. It's why most of your missions were required a great deal of travel to get to wherever it was you were going. I don't know why he insisted on this.
When was the first instruction of this sort given to you? How long ago was that?
I would have to look back at my documentation, but not long after your first mission on Talgan 3.
Yeah, I was going to say,
less than a turn span.
Were you instructed to have us investigate the warlord?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it would have been like almost immediately after.
Okay.
And they still sent a hit guy after us. That's interesting.
I mean, just to make sure, right?
Yeah. But not since.
Neither of them
Strange.
worked.
Hmm.
And I can't say exactly everything that Cromwell has attempted to send after you. Perhaps it has been my suspicion for some time now that there are greater things at work here among the Cole Foundation. There are just too many unanswered questions I have about the workings of this organization.
Oh, believe us.
Mm.
Same.
Welcome to the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome
I
to
mean,
Oracle Zero. What's
so-
up? I know you're our boss, but
And also
You're
was just
hired.
trying to kill us
Yeah.
until like 20 minutes ago. So maybe, yeah. You're on probation, kid.
there's a lot of people on probation right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it had something to do with whatever protection the Foundation affords the four of you, and perhaps that protection extends farther than Aegis Tech Solutions is aware.
Welcome to Oracle Zero. We have everything. Corrupt Imperial family members, terrorists, hackers, hitmen.
So the theory is that the reason why they send us away from the Storm's Repose on long missions is for us to be away from protection upon the ship. Is that
That's
am I
what she
understanding
seems
that
to
correct?
think.
Okay.
She was
Just
never
wanna make
told
sure.
anything outright, but her instructions were to get you away from the Storm's Repose for as long as possible.
Is there anybody else on this ship that is a point of contact for Aegis Tech, or are you the sole point of contact for Aegis Tech?
As far as I know, I don't know why they would reach out to anyone else aboard this ship. I think the only reason they reached out to me is because I am a distaff relative, and I had the misfortune of having family members that they could manipulate.
I mean, given the amount of power that Aegis Tech has, there's no reason they can't reach out to anyone else on this ship.
Yeah,
It's true.
although it does speak. Well, actually, I was going to say the fact that they reached out to you probably means that they didn't have anyone else on this ship anyway. But the fact that you were in a position of power is probably why they reached out. It's probably a really great coincidence for them. They could have other people on the ship.
Perhaps. You'd think that if they could just hire somebody to walk up to any of you in the hallways here and kill you,
That's a
they
good
would.
point. Hmm.
I simply just mean informants.
And honestly, I think that line was perhaps tested with myself, but thinking back on that first conversation I had with Cromwell, if I had been more amenable to the idea, I think perhaps he may have tried to ask that of me, though I don't know. I am working for this foundation because I don't want to be involved in all of that. But the opportunity to make the lives of my family easier and better, and all I had to do was...
Nope, finish
Send-
the sentence.
Send 4 people to their potential deaths multiple times. Some of them have families.
I am so sorry.
Now I have to apologize. No,
It's like, hey, it made us stronger as a team, everyone, going through multiple,
Cool
harrowing death
motive,
scenarios.
still murder.
Yeah.
motive still attempted murder.
Yeah.
Look, it's not okay, but at least you're on our side now. And that's a start. Can't believe that we've had to, say that to somebody twice in the past.
Several
months.
weeks. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Just we're just here to help. Fuck, helping sucks sometimes. God damn it, I want to kick someone's ass.
Oh. I'm so sorry. She was laying on the mute button.
Poor baby. What happened?
What happened?
Now you're muted.
Yeah.
I just did that on purpose. She doesn't feel good, so she's laying down, but she laid down on my computer, and so she muted me, and I was moving her, and she didn't like it. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
That's
It's right in
okay.
a time stamp.
Okay. Yeah.
She's looking at me like, you fucking bitch. I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Mother, how could you betray me?
She needs to fucking chill.
Yeah.
Can't you see I'm trying to love you?
Oh, I think her tummy hurts, so when I touch her, it's bad. Okay.
Poor baby.
What were we talking about?
We're sort of talking. I mean, we've been kind of talking around like what to do next.
Well,
like
we're
not gonna. Okay, let's go over like maybe what we have confirmed.
Mhm.
So 1, we are not staying dead. That's
Correct.
agreed upon.
Mhm.
And I think that's it.
That's the only thing we've agreed upon.
Yes.
Yeah.
To that point, Vectoria will say, just because we reverse some official documentation aboard the Storm's Repose doesn't mean that information has to find its way to Aegis Tech Solutions or House Silvaro, if I have anything to do with it.
Right, but again, the goal is to have you actually just kind of keep doing what you're doing, but not actively trying to kill us. Because we need as much time as we can to figure out what is going on with Aegis Tech Solutions. Like maybe you could buy us a couple more turn spans so that Oswald and I can get more of what's on this data cam out of it and see if we can get any more. Or did we go through all of it on the way back, or did
I
we
don't
only
know
get
if that would have
partway
been.
through?
I don't know if it would have been possible to get through everything necessarily.
We went through a lot of it, but again, the big problem with a lot of the information on there is that it's technical. It is scientific notation,
context.
and you don't have context for what they're trying to do. It's like looking at a biology paper with having no background in biology.
You want to
Feel
know
like
how you get through all that? Real quick. You upload it to the internet. Sorry, the metanet.
I mean, it would
I'm
sure
not
make
saying do
things
that.
happen.
I am not saying do that. I'm just
Stuff
saying
would go
people on the
down.
internet have a lot of free time, and what they do with that free time can be productive sometimes.
Put it on fucking Reddit.
We could
I mean, we have a
We could
place
go
that we
through-
could put it. I mean, I'm just saying.
we could go through more official channels first.
Mm.
Like, I mean, Oswald, do archivists do you know professors or whatever?
That teach in universities.
I guess.
Some of them must have some sort of accredited knowledge.
I'm sure that they do.
They don't just let anyone be an archivist, right?
Oswald, do they just
They
let
let
anyone
me
be an
be an
archivist?
archivist.
Oh God.
All right. Well, I guess we could just base Google it or whatever. But we could send some pieces to biotechnologists or
we could. Yes.
hey, what would this mean hypothetically?
We would have to find. I think we would have to find a way to and not draw too much attention. It is well noted what Mr. Zinn mentioned, that this information is potentially big enough to cause open warfare within the galaxy, and that's not necessarily something we want to.
And has
just jump
probably
on it.
already started house wars.
That's likely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a
wars.
lot of resources within the archive. It's not a bad idea.
And I might be able to give you at least one lead where all of this is concerned. At least once, I was able to glean where Cromwell was communicating from. It was a ship. Not one I'd recognized, not one that I was able to find in any sort of family registry of Silvaro fleets. Honestly, I don't think he even meant for me to find out. It was called the Typhon.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps.
Could.
Not hurt.
Honestly, it's mostly because I've overheard a comms tech in the background of his transmission. Maybe there's something on that in the information you have.
I'll look it up. Thank you for the tip.
If I tell Cromwell that you are still alive, and he re-engages my services, I was never told beyond the barest amount of detail precisely what it was you would be encountering at any of these adventures. I can't guarantee that I'd be able to bend things in your favor. I was told that exploratory vessel had been affected by Kemlarian radiation creating undead. I was told in all likelihood that you wouldn't survive your encounter with the warlord. I didn't know any of the details surrounding the situation there. And on Asclepsis, we had simply put you in a situation where it was more than likely the Fae would have come to grips with you.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I was actually going to ask, like, what was the deal with Asclepsis? Because that was like, I mean, until the very end there, I was pretty much smooth sailing.
It was assumed if you were placed in a backwater, as you were, where the dealings with the Fae were less scrupulously managed than the rest of that planet, the odds of you encountering and running afoul of she would have increased exponentially.
That did sort of happen. The flip side,
The accident that we didn't run afoul, it actually worked out really great for us.
Just the flip side of you continuing the illusion. I mean, yes, maybe you won't be able to help us out, but the flip side is that we continue messing with Aegis Tech stuff and get caught on camera, and they figure out you've been lying and do whatever they were threatening to do.
Yeah.
So
the other thing that we should be concerned with is the fact that they are holding essentially your family hostage to a certain degree.
And now that they are further entwined with the house politics and are more indebted to... Yes. Best case scenario I can think of now is that I remove myself entirely from my family, and act as banishment would be the easiest. If I simply gave up all rights to family title and benefits, might spare them.
Did you really think that would stop them from using your family against you? Just because you leave doesn't mean you don't care.
You really have no experience with imperial house politics, do you?
They left school far before that.
Is it that obvious?
yeah.
I think that was the third year of study.
I did just learn that I can levitate. So, yeah, it's been a wild couple of months.
Yes.
I'm a wizard, by the way.
I was just about to say, I was like, I don't know that she knows that.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I'm a wizard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's I mean, I don't want to, like, I don't want to like take all the credit, but it's probably a big part of the reason why it's been so hard to kill us is because I've had sacred like superpowers the whole time.
I mean, it's super is just the reason we didn't die on that moon
All the
on
vampire
Talcon
shit.
3.
on
I'll say
Talcon
not
3,
even
yeah.
what I was talking about.
I will say that is not something that Aegis Tech Solutions is aware of,
Nice, excellent.
as far as I know.
Let's keep it that way as long as we. Well, actually, maybe that wizard hitman knows, hit person knows if they fucking survived.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just reminiscing. It was very cool.
Do they just know what's on our employee profiles? What do they know about us?
I mean,
They
it's
have
a galaxy.
information. They have information provided by personnel files from the Cole Foundation. Beyond that, I don't know what research they've done on you separately. Presume that any public information regarding yourselves or your families is probably known.
Yeesh.
Ugh.
Yikes.
So that does bring up an interesting factoid. If we were to continue, which I would assume that we will, what is to stop them from, well, encouraging us not to continue through our families?
I would assume the fact that they haven't done so already means they have some reason for not involving more people. The fact that Cromwell Silvaro himself contacted me, I didn't know what it was you had all gotten yourselves involved in, but I had assumed it was something terrible that involved the highest levels of imperial politics, something I did not want anything to do with. Now, after seeing that, I don't know. Some strange scientific cabal of horrors that Cromwell Silvaro has gotten himself into, or Aegis Tech into. I'm not sure where one starts and the other ends.
As a side note, Shay, you should definitely program something into this file that you and Oswald have been going through, where, like, if anything does happen to all four of us, it, like, auto-uploads to the archive. That's just a good idea.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, dead man switch. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case.
Yes, I can assist with that. I know exactly where to send it, if need be.
So, you would perpetrate a house war upon your deaths?
Oh, yeah, I mean, just so that if they send people after us, we can be like, hey, don't do that, you fucking assholes.
It's more of like a last resort kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
If we get in a really tight spot, we can be
Why
like,
don't we just lie and say we've got that?
Sure, yeah, let's do that. And all that Florian will, like, look over at Shay and be like, yeah, okay, like this guy.
I don't know what would happen if this information got out. In all likelihood, I would assume that House Silvaro would go the way of House Bruthius. And by that she means, in common
Completely
terminology,
obliterated.
Absolutely destroyed by the rest of the Empire.
Yeah.
With terrible cost to the peoples involved.
I mean, we'd be dead, so I don't know.
It might guarantee your safety. I don't know. I don't know.
Who owns the archive?
Do you ask?
That's how we find out.
The Murdoch family.
No.
I believe two brothers. One of them.
Oh no!
It's the Pepsi brothers.
This is our escapism, you guys.
And yet we're doing a campaign that's corporate espionage.
Y'all asked for this.
I know, we could
No,
have
it's
just
good.
been
It's good. It's good.
space pirates. Fuck.
Mm. This is a good campaign. This is good.
I don't know. I don't know if the originator of the creator of the archive is known. I'm sure there might be a figurehead of some sort. But
as far as you know, it's like at this point, it's a totally open source. Like the board of directors of the archive are like seventh or eighth generation of like, yeah, maybe once upon a time there was a single person who started putting this together, but that's so far in the distant past.
Yeah, it's been so cobbled together at this point from so many sources. It's hard to pinpoint.
I mean, it has to be like maintained though, like hosted somewhere.
It's not
That's
how
why they have their
works.
their annual donation, their fundraisers.
I just mean like somebody had to build it. Like it wouldn't have just like
Right. Yeah,
spontaneously.
Yeah, like I said, somewhere in the mists of the past, somebody did that, but they're not a recognizable name attached to this entity known as the archive. In theory, you could probably look that up on the archive.
That's the only thing that's not available on the archive.
The highest level of paywall.
I looked and it's just some guy named Mott. I don't know.
No. That's a typo. I think it means Matt. I think it's Matt.
Oh, Matt.
I'm pretty sure it's Matt.
I thought it was Tom from MySpace.
Yeah, see, it was reversed by accident. It's actually Tom. Mm-hmm.
This is stupid. Back to our conversation. Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, do we have a directive for her? Not really. It's kind of just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll try.
Yeah, because we don't want anything to seem out of the ordinary for her. We don't want them to catch wind that she might be working with us. That would be not advantageous for anybody involved at this point.
I think the biggest thing for me is what is powerful enough to stop, Aegis Tech from attacking us outright. Why do we have to be so far away from the ship? Which means I want to talk to the Archproctor. That is like my most, important goal right now, because talking to them is going to probably lay out a whole lot of information for us.
What do you think we might get from that?
I mean, they seem to know more than anyone else.
Like what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's some super secret head to the Cole Foundation, they theoretically should have all the information, right? They can explain why we're not able to be touched in our current position. And also they might offer some guidance. Clearly they're, they mean well if they're guiding us towards a path of, I don't know, good. Mr. Zen seems to have confidence in them in the same way that they have confidence in Silvaro, so go for 2 for 2, hopefully.
Has there ever been any, open conflict with the She? I mean, I know that they're, right, there's constant conflict with the She, but is there, any sort of... I don't know, is that just stuff they do ever, or not really? Never been, in conflict with the Empire or in conflict with the Dominion beyond their, deals that they've made with either entity?
They are not, nor have they ever been in recorded history, been in a position to wage open conflict with anybody because of where and how they exist.
Yeah, they're not physical in the same way. So,
there is near constant, cyber warfare with them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole why Aegis Tech Solutions is as big of a company as it is.
That's kind of where I was going, is like, oh, who has the most to benefit from Aegis Tech being fucked over? And it's and it's the she, which might not be good for everybody else, but that's another next potential step that we could take.
And again, something you did discover in your research is that not all the she are anti-Aegis Tech.
Yeah.
Because House Silvaro runs Aegis Tech, and House Silvaro is part of the Empire, and the Empire has made some big, grand deal with the Court of Air that binds them to each other.
Well, that's the best ally, right? Is one that's in danger of fracturing anyway. Isn't that how you do things? Yeah. This is our escapism.
Space fantasy politics. Whee!
Yay!
As you are debating this, Vectoria would ask, if you are going to be coming back from the dead, do you want me directly informing House Silvaro that you're alive? If I don't, and that is absolutely within my power to delay them finding out, but if they then do find out somewhere down the line, they will know that I have deceived them.
Yeah.
Right, and we don't necessarily have a timeline here as far as for our plan of action, so I don't know what we'd be delaying for necessarily, except for buying us time.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner I inform them that you're alive, the sooner they will try something else.
Yes.
I mean, we really don't have a new objective yet, so...
To that point, though, on your list, you two, is there anywhere near here? Or this is a huge trading hub. Like, is there a secret Aegis Tech base?
Also, how long are we going to be here? I mean, this is a major humanitarian, or not, I don't know what the term would be, but essentially humanitarian issue. So,
and you haven't stopped to ask about what precisely the Storm's Repose is doing here?
It's doing. Yeah.
True.
We brought the party. This planet's been without a lot of joy for a while, and I think they could use a pick-me-up.
Yeah. During the Ice Age, they forgot how to party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You do know that the Storm's Repose has been here for months at this point.
Yeah.
Well, she'd know.
It's true.
Yeah.
If you ask Vectoria what the Storm's Repose mission here on Noku is, she would inform you that the Storm's Repose mission actually isn't on Noku. It is on one of the larger flotillas that is within the system here. As I described last time, the whole solar system here is a big hub of comings and goings of all sorts of people trying to help with the rebuilding of this homeworld of a species, the Rini. One of the larger flotillas that is like a superstructure space station made up of a bunch of different spaceships that have been docked together to create this larger superstructure that is the result of the coming together of the Rini diaspora that is just now beginning to end, has a lot of problems with it because it is just a bunch of spaceships duct taped together to try to make a livable, habitable space platform. That's not a good long-term solution for habitation out in space.
Oh, have they tried Flex Seal?
They have, and that's where the Storm's Repose comes in.
Okay, cool.
Flex Seal and Gorilla Glue.
Mm-hmm. That's what we brought.
Yes.
We went to Home Depot and we're basically Uber eating them some Gorilla Glue and Flex Seal.
But the Storm's Repose is specifically helping to make this station more habitable for a long-term stay here.
And how much longer is the Storm's Repose going to be staying here?
Maybe another turn span.
Okay.
So
about a week.
Question, Mike. If there are planets where they have like large scale terraforming, right? And this planet's currently in an ice age, how do that? Can they just acquire a Gek and just fix things?
Elliot is making the universal sign for money, and that is one of the big issues.
Okay.
Noku and the Rini people aren't necessarily a large galactic power where these things are concerned, and especially considering they're coming out of a cultural diaspora where the basically cultural leaders of these people are beginning to bring them back together to create some kind of foundation for a broader civilizational push on their home world. They're not quite at the point where, unless some miracle backer comes in and is like, here, have 10 billion jewels to help terraform this small chunk of the planet. You need huge amounts of resources to terraform a planet. It can be done, but it takes an ungodly amount of wealth, like something a super corporation might have.
I'm just saying it would probably be a good PR stunt.
It could be.
Yeah.
But no one's been convinced to pull the trigger on that quite yet.
Corporations
What about the
suck.
profits?
Yeah.
And as I said before, there are actually a lot of corporate interests here to try to make a quick buck about all of this, but yeah, no one has quite put the resources behind just re-terraforming this planet.
It's really a matter of just being observed while looking like you're helping, you know? I think that's really the essential bit.
We here at Vorpal Corp are doing our best to help with the cultural diaspora of the Rini people and their reestablishing of their cultural roots on the planet Noku.
And also, you do have to think, like, even if there are corporate interests that have put in, like, yeah, we will pay this much towards terraforming if you let us terraform the planet so that we can fucking run the blockchain on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll help the people by giving them all jobs.
Yeah.
By making this planet, a Vorpal Corp sort of, hub world.
Yeah. The blockchain mines. Mine crypto.
I was just about to say, everyone on this planet is an NFT artist now.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, they are Rini.
What's the Blank and Sons?
Womack and Sons?
Womack and Sons. Come work in the Womack and Sons warehouse for a starting wage of 15 joules an hour and no breaks.
You do have to pee in a bottle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You have to buy the bottle, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, one of the larger conspiracy theories about why this process is maybe not going as quickly as it might otherwise is also the fact that there is a crap ton of old dwarvish tech buried down there under the ice. And if they just here, Rini culture, have your planet back, then that means they get claim to all that old cog tech down there, not some corporation who secretly mines it out of the ice before anyone figures it out.
That's fair. I'd forgotten about that.
Now, as far as what level of conspiracy theory, is this like a conspiracy theory that Florian's brother would be really into, or is this something with a little bit more credibility?
Or is this like the CIA killed Martin Luther King?
It's more on the level of oil companies suppressed electric car technology for decades.
Okay.
So
there is documentation.
So just a true fact.
Okay.
We haven't reached the point though where it has been discovered that it is 100% true fact. We're in the middle of it in this current,
Nobody has the memos dictating that that's what's being said to people.
The memos
Like
are
the
there,
very-
but we just haven't seen them.
Or like the very old man who spent 45 minutes explaining to me that the reason that Dallas doesn't have good public transportation is because all of the public officials are in the pockets of all the car dealership owners.
Very possible.
I have no reason to doubt that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
That
don't
sounds
know Dallas
real.
well enough to
yeah.
say one way or the
The
other.
whole time I was like, I mean, yeah, I believe you, but I need to take my 15, man. I have to pee so fucking fast.
Here's your bottle.
Dude, can you please
Yeah,
leave?
here's your bottle.
So, while no one can confirm that fact, a lot of people who would hear somebody say that go, yeah, that seems reasonable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, in terms of like, we're going to be here another week. Maybe it's worth it to see if there's any trouble we can get into in the areas surrounding Noku, and then when the Storm's Repose goes to leave, we can be like, "Oh, hey, whoa,
We're back finally, and we're alive.
Wow.
Well,
What a surprise.
the only thing I want to pose to that is there anything we can do in a short, like a week or two span of like staying hidden? Can we be productive in any sense without people knowing we're alive, without necessarily going on a mission?
Where we could be observed, yeah.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like, if we have this advantage of being dead, like we might as well use it. And
Mhm.
even beyond all of this, like Aegis Tech, trying to kill us stuff, a week of us being dead gives us a week of we can do whatever we want, as opposed to doing like specifically Coal Foundation aid adjacent stuff, which
Right.
means we can see if there's anything in the database that indicates that there's something interesting to poke our noses into nearby, check it out, and then have at least one mission where we're not actively being sent into danger and or having to manage trying to help people.
Mm-hmm.
at the
Yeah,
same
because
time.
I was thinking either we have some sort of extremely low key mission where we have to make our way back to our secret hideout, which I would like to put forth the name the Undercroft. But that's fine. We don't have to use it. It's okay. It's bad.
You know what that's from, right?
Yeah, of course, Mike.
Okay.
I don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Read.
No, it's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
God.
I'm gonna look it up later and I'm gonna make fun of
Do
you.
it.
probably.
Do it. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it.
Anyway. Yeah. And it also covers our bases with, like, if we do fuck around with an Aegis Tech base and we get caught on camera or something, then she has plausible deniability. Victoria does, to be like, oh yeah, what? I did not know they were alive.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, do we chill
Get
here or do we go fuck shit up?
Or do we put forth some way of getting in contact with Mr. Zinn and the Archproctor?
Or all of the above.
Right.
I mean, that will take us a week.
And the last time you spoke with Mr. Zinn, he seemed open to the idea of introducing you to the Archproctor, though you would have to go to there. And you don't know where there is.
Right.
Hmm.
So if you wanted to remain local for the time allotted within the span in which the Storm's Repose will remain in this system, probably going to go speak to the Archproctor might be a little bit outside of your time frame.
Yeah.
Unless you just wanted
We
to
could-
stay dead and fuck off.
We could,
Which we could do.
at the very least, pose to Zinn that we are interested in talking with the Archproctor. At least get that going while we take care of some
get
other
that,
stuff.
that ball rolling.
Yeah.
And in the meantime,
Well, it depends on if one of the two of you could look in the database and be like, is there anything interesting nearby?
Yeah. We can do that.
you want to do that right now?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, you have access to all that stuff. You have your own personal data pad, which I believe you had said, and has actually been an issue in the past, that you have all that data on there.
Yeah.
Didn't who's whose data pad did Mr. Zinn say that you should literally look into securing that better?
Oswald's.
Cool.
Oswald's,
Cool.
yeah.
Neat. Awesome.
But I
To
think
be fair.
didn't I give him one of my extra data pads though that are at least more secure than the average one for that stuff? I don't know. I know I did. I know I gave him one of my extra ones for something. I just don't know what.
I think it was, I don't know if it was because it was more secure or if it was because we were like, hey, don't put this on your personal computer.
Mhm.
Use a spare.
Now, the reason I'm curious, is it more secure just because Oswald doesn't lock his data pad? He just leaves the screen on all the time, or what?
His password is just
dad.
Oswald.
Wait, how many characters is it?
It's 6.
It's your
an
whole name?
iPad.
How many? Oh, yeah. It would be Oswald.
But looking up whether or not anything is in the Noku system is easy enough, as you've already spent the time to invent a search protocol for all of this data. That was one of the first things you did with this data trove.
Yeah.
And you do find something quite interesting.
Hmm.
There are 4 planets in the Noku system. Noku itself is the second planet of this solar system. The third is a icy rock by the name of Tio Shin. And
I was hoping they were all going to be like Goku, Roku, Noku, and
No.
Tyoshin was my fourth going to be.
if you really want to know, the names are Noha, Noku, Tio Shin, and Krylia. And so Tio Shin is the third world of that system.
I'm not mad, Mike. I'm really not. Very happy right now.
There used to be a 5th planet, but it was called Yamcha, and it's no longer
No, it was-
alive.
It's just a crater where it
Yamcha.
used to be.
Mhm. How there's a crater in space, we don't know, but there is.
It's called a
It's
black
best
hole.
not
That's
to
the
think
crater
about
of
it. Yeah.
space.
But
Right.
there's a crater on all sides. It's not a
But on that world, there is apparently an Aegis Tech facility that is listed in your data trove.
Well,
What
looks
what
like
they
my luck.
do there would take a little time to like dig into, and I don't know if you want to do that here while Vectoria is still with you.
Suppose we don't have to do it right here, right now, but it's something that we will be doing in the immediate future.
Yeah, I guess my question to the 4 of you is there anything you still want to do interacting with Vectoria? Or do you want to try to head back to your secret base?
I think letting her just go back to just as if things are normal at this time. We'll update her when we have more information, but
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else we need to run by her.
And also like we're dead. Tell her we're dead for the time being. When we alive ourselves again, like then we can arrange another meeting to talk about like what next steps are.
Yeah.
But
She would also ask before she departs if there's anyone else on the Storms Repose that is within your circle of trust, or is that even something you're willing to tell her? She doesn't know who to trust at this point.
Oof.
I mean, trust is a two-way street, right? So
Yeah.
You've already told her that Proctor Frost is apparently in on some of this stuff, so she knows that.
Yeah.
Proctor Frost is gonna fucking squeal, so we better tell.
Yeah.
I don't think telling her. I mean, she probably knows that like, we're the ones who brought Kala on board, so assuming that Kala knows something would be pretty easy to surmise.
Yeah.
And same with Duma, like, he's been with us. He's part of Oracle Zero. So...
And Duma has pointedly not been declared dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any specific reason or purpose or advantage we would have for not filling Silvaro in on who is privy to this information, specifically Kala and Duma. I don't know what we stand to gain by going, that's that, everyone, and secretly knowing, like, yeah, Kala, okay, keep tabs on everything.
I mean, I suppose we have already laid all of our cards on the table for the most part, so
yeah,
makes sense.
I will also add, though, don't directly talk to Kala about any of this, though, unless it's absolutely necessary. Kind of want, because, I mean, quite frankly,
So
it's
you
not
do tell her about Kala.
Oh, had we decided on that?
I'm for yay.
Yeah, I am too.
Okay.
If people are going after people we're associated with, like, they're not going to give a shit if Kala actually knows stuff or not. So,
yeah, I just want her to be involved in this as little as possible, unless it's dire circumstances. Because,
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, plausible deniability, and also, like, she works for the Cole Foundation, but she's in a completely different department, so it would probably be strange for you to be, like, hanging out with her anyway, so yeah.
I had no intention of hanging out with any of these people. I just wanted
Well,
to
I
know
mean, it's a shame, honestly, because Kala's pretty cool, but
all right.
yeah, just, it's not meant to be. Maybe in a different life. Maybe if things were better, you could hang out with Kala, but unfortunately you're not allowed.
Shay.
If that's all you have to say to Vectoria Silvaro, she will take her leave.
That seems like a good way to end.
And we do the world's like tiniest, like, hooray tunnel of arms as she leaves. Yeah. Welcome to the team. No one would ever do that for anything ever, nor should they.
Also, it would be the tiniest because Oswald couldn't be paired up with anybody because he's so much shorter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to levitate him, which we all know he hates.
Feet on the ground. This is ideal.
She'll say that if she thinks of anything else that might be helpful in regards to Aegis Tech Solutions, she will reach out. But otherwise, she will remain hands-off as best she can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was before. You had very little interaction with her other than your mission assignments.
Yeah.
Cool. And she leaves.
All right, database. You could pay nerds. Fucking do that shit.
Shall we get back to the base of operations?
Yeah.
Boy, it'd be really awkward if somebody just saw us walking around,
Roll me a d20.
Considering we've already done that.
I'm doing it.
Oh, you're going to roll it? Go for it.
Yeah, I already have it up because 10, right in the middle.
Good place to be, I think.
50% of the people see us.
Middle of the pack, you know?
We know 10 people we pass by. I mean, we already established that this is not an area where people would know us, but...
True.
And yes, nobody who knows you passes you in this area of the ship on your way back to your secret base.
How?
What do you
Now
mean
we do-
nobody knows me?
We do walk by
Reed,
Axel.
also roll me a d20.
No, Reed!
We do walk by Axel Amandito, but he's just like, who are those
He
guys?
doesn't remember who we are because he
Yeah.
never does.
He thinks we're fans. Do you really want me to roll a d20, Mike?
Yes, 100%. You tempted me.
Five.
You're a famous war hero.
It's a fair point.
I got a 5.
As you're walking through
Yes.
the engineering area up on the top of the ship, you do get a look from somebody, just a random, you don't even know if they actually are a family member of somebody who works here or one of the engineers who lives up in this area, but they look at you with an expression, and it's a Midrian individual, female, looks to be in her late 40s maybe, and she looks at you with just like a double take of like, oh, I know that guy, but she doesn't say anything.
Cool.
How we should have asked this the first time we were traveling through this place secretly. How London similar is the Storm's Repose? I.e., are there cameras everywhere on this ship? Is it this sort of horrible? I hate CCTV. That's the end of that
Sure.
sentence.
There are cameras at specific entry points to important places on the ship. Otherwise, no.
Cool.
And like at big intersections and junctions, there will be security cameras. But like most of the corridors, no. In the way you're moving right now, you're probably on camera somewhere. But whether or not anyone's paying attention to that fact or knows who you are...
Yeah, I just... Again, yeah, like if there was an actual CCTV type system that people were actually monitoring, it would be more of an issue, but cool.
As far as you know, there's no facial recognition popping off as you walk the halls.
We're in a horrible space dystopia, I had to ask.
It's true. And on a different ship owned by a different foundation, that would very well might be the case. But you make it back to your Oracle Cave, and there you are doing what? There was talk of forcing the nerds to look up information?
Nerds.
Yeah.
Florian and Amari are just like over at the table while eating just like large amounts of food while you guys are like doing shit on nerd boxes.
Oh god, are we the jocks to Shay and Oswald's nerds? Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
obviously.
Always have been.
I write poetry.
While arm wrestling.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you know that there is a Aegis Tech facility of some kind on Tio Shen related to Project Chimera specifically, because that's how you are aware of it. It's because of that list.
Yes.
And you want to dig into the data trove to learn more about that facility.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's absolutely something you can do. And you have all the time in the world, essentially, right now to do that, so I'm not even going to ask for a roll necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of dedicating time to it. And as you do, you discover that it has to do, this facility in particular, has to do with cog tech that was excavated off of Noku and relocated to this facility. And they're studying that cog tech to do something. This is where things start getting a little iffy, because it gets very technical about something to do with the interaction between this specific cog tech and the Fae. And
They deal with a lot of Fae shit.
Far as
It's their job,
know, that's like that specific connection seems weird to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Fae stuff is all
So-
aether-based.
Yeah.
It's not,
I-
but it also is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just the way that the normal people interact with Fae stuff is through like an aether connection.
Yeah. Whereas Cogrish tech is decidedly anti-etherical to the point of strangeness.
Yeah.
This might not be something that any of us would know, but how advanced is cogtech? Are we talking like computer chips and like space travel, or are we talking like steam engines and
They're
muskets?
absolutely capable of space travel. And the fact of the matter is like the cog still use etherics. They just don't use it the same way that the rest of the galaxy does.
Yeah.
The cog can, to give you a good example, you said spaceships. Cog uses basically the same spaceship technology that everybody else in the galaxy uses. It's etherically powered because that is the most abundant power source in the galaxy.
Mhm.
But because of their slightly stunted etheric capabilities, being able to like plug somebody into their spaceship to use as a navigator is just not something they're necessarily capable of. Not to the same extent as like elves or Midrians or any other species. So they would go out of their way to invent a thinking machine capable of transporting them through the void like you do. It is even said that in the mists of the distant past, it was the cog themselves that had created warp travel. They're the ones who discovered it. Whether or not that's true, that's so far in the past, no one's 100% sure about that. It's like, would somebody have invented the light bulb anyway? Probably. So the cog technology is equivalent to standard modern technology, but they just come at it from a different angle.
That's what I thought. I just couldn't remember like lore wise.
Now, what you are also aware of, because you are aware of it firsthand, is that there is maybe weirder stuff going on where Cogrish technology is concerned, because you ran into those very upsetting cyborgs of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
very true.
Their cybernetics are not etherically based, which make them very weird, because somebody with, say, Florian's artificial arm can control it via instinct and etherics. Whatever the cog were doing had nothing to do with etheric capability, so whatever strange wiring they had worked into the nervous system of those cyborgs, you gotta think of it, at least in real world settings, the cog are more like us in real life. Like, all of their technology is basically where we're at, except in the future. So they're using gunpowder and chemical reactions and batteries that aren't necessarily... whereas the batteries you're used to, you can literally touch, take the energy out of, and then put somewhere else with your body. That's just something you're able to do. The cog can't do that.
Y'all can't do that with batteries normally? Huh.
Oh, I thought you could do that by licking batteries.
Yeah, you can. That's how you do it.
Are we not supposed to eat batteries?
No,
you're supposed to. That's how you get the energy.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how I've been doing it the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But yes, by the standards of this setting, Cogrish technology is weird because it doesn't rely on etherics to control. but it's still the power source and how a lot of it like functions. So when the Cogs waged their deep war across the galaxy in an attempt to conquer the known galaxy, and they got pretty damn close. This was thousands of years ago, mind you. They did so using technology that the rest of the galaxy couldn't get their heads around.
It does help being like, oh, this person has magic and a shield that can defend them from anything, and having someone else be like, okay, I have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Your magic shield is nothing against
like,
my gun. Yeah.
Cool, this is a gun.
And so when the Cog discovered a world of etherically neutral creatures like the ogres and said, hey, we've got technology that can work for you, it became a whole thing.
So, this planet, Teoshan, what else is going on this planet besides this specific Aegis Tech?
It is an
location?
icy, uninhabitable rock.
Gotcha. So if we were to look it up
Trucks.
from a maybe more public source, it would just say uninhabitable. Don't even worry about it. It's just ice.
There is liquid water below the ice, but it is so acidic as to be effectively useless.
Okay, gotcha.
There are the occasional boondoggles to try to mine that water and filter it, and all have failed.
Boondoggles.
So yeah, it is one of those worlds that just people have left alone because it seems like, why put in that much effort when you can just fly a couple of systems away and find another perfectly good world with potable water?
And we're back in the cave, correct?
Mhm.
Can our ship from here get a reading off of that planet? Seeing as it's in the system.
If you try to do that, and something that would probably surprise you, seeing as a ship of a similar size and class to the Tiresian would not be able to do this, but the Tiresian does. Your scanners on this ship are exceedingly powerful, you've come to discover. You're pretty sure this was originally some kind of spy vessel.
Perfect for a campaign with like political and corporate espionage.
Hey, I gave you a
that
choice
is
of 3
kind of-
ships.
We had,
That is kind of why we chose it. I mean,
One did have hot rod flames, and
I know.
they
I
would
still
never
think we
think
should have
to.
chosen that one.
I mean, they wouldn't think spies are going to be in that. They'd be like, those people are too stupid to be spies.
They wouldn't be wrong.
The Sterling Archer method of
Yeah.
espionage, I see.
Uh-huh.
But getting a read on the transmissions coming to and from that planet, you would pretty quickly be able to see that there are transmissions coming to and from that planet, and you'd be able to get a fix on them. And since you already know where the base is, thanks to this data trove, you can pretty easily get a fix on where it is and who they're transmitting to.
Are they transmitting to, Mike?
There are several other Aegis technology flagships in the system that are here publicly. They're
Would
To
one of
help.
them?
yeah, to help.
Would one of them be the Typhon or the? I don't remember how that was pronounced.
No, you got it.
That was right.
Oh, good.
You don't know.
Suppose another thing we should look up is any information on the Typhon in our database.
I wonder if that's the whatever black site that they have, their mobile kind of command
Makes
center
sense,
that is
yeah.
off the books.
That is what you would figure out if you searched the Typhon in this data trove. It is where all of the information and project pieces are being funneled to. There's no record in this data trove about the ship itself, but there is lots of records of all these different sites funneling information towards that ship. And it's a lot of like sign, countersign stuff between these different bases and the Typhon. And there are logs of the Typhon going to these different places at times. So occasionally it seems like this ship will show up at some of these secret moon bases.
Yeah. Do we have, like, logs of when those visits would have been? Like, do we know the last time it was at the one on Talgan 3, by any chance?
The one on Talgan 3 would have been 4 cycles ago.
Okay.
And the one on Asclipsis would have been, I believe, 5 cycles ago. And it would line up pretty neatly with when you found news documents of Cromwell Silvaro showing up on Asclipsis as well.
And what, like, the last transmission from the base on Talgan 3 to Typhon, was it like right before the ship showed up, or were there any transmissions after the ship left?
No. It seems as though any of these bases will transmit some sort of signal to the Typhon, signaling that they're ready to offload some kind of project specialization component, whatever that may be, whether it's data or actual scientific research or some piece of engineering. It changes from site to site. But whenever they're ready to give something over to Project Chimera specifically, they signal the Typhon, then the Typhon shows up, and they do it in person.
Okay.
And it seems as though the Typhon has never come to the base on Teoshin.
Is there a way we can get more information about this base that's on Teoshin through these messages being sent back and forth? How many people might be operating in this area?
That's really tough to say. It seems as though the contact that this base is having with these Aegis Tech flagships is less like, hey, how's it going, buddy? And more just data packets being transferred about the comings and goings from Noku. Based on your observations, it looks as though the public-facing flagships are there to pay attention to who's coming and going from this system and the world specifically. And they seem to be tracking people going to specific locations on the planet and making sure people aren't going to specific locations on the planet.
On Noku specifically. Where do they not want people to go? Are we able to figure that out?
There's a location near the South Pole.
Okay.
Which is where some of the worst of the ecological ice age disaster is at its thickest.
How much do you want to bet that that's where the tech that they mined came from? Or corresponds to?
So then the question is, if we wanted to maybe take a look, see how do we do so without getting observed?
Yeah, most other communications that come from that base to the ships are just check-in signals, essentially.
Yeah.
The spaceship equivalent of, you good? We good.
All right. So, do we want to check it out while we're still dead?
How do we do so without...
While we're dead.
How do we do so without drawing any attention?
This would be our first time breaking into one that wasn't abandoned.
Florian just like giant shrug. I don't know.
We steal a car and drive down a tunnel really fast.
Right, that one was
and
easy.
then run over whoever happens to be standing in front of the facility.
And just
No,
hope
we only run over bad guys.
and take their stuff.
Mhm.
As
Yes.
and as we know, all security personnel just are like directly aligned with the morals of the company they work for. And anyway, I mean, going on foot or like, getting close in the ship and going on foot might have to be if there's like any sort of monitoring going on.
What kind of monitoring was happening? Would it be something that we would maybe be able to bypass? Because we were able to bypass monitoring when we entered the Storm's Repose.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a similar kind of thing that we could maybe bypass with just what we have with our ship?
You'd have to put some work in to try to build some kind of signal stealth system in the Teresian. It's not something you possess. As of right now, all you really have is something that lets you bypass the security systems of the Storm's Repose itself.
Right.
We need a fucking Metal Gear Solid jammer.
Yes.
Is that something that like Shay could develop or quickly?
Yeah, timing would probably be the only thing.
With the resources you have available to you, you would maybe be able to concoct something that would dampen your signals briefly for a short little burst.
Yeah.
Not something that you could sustain, because you're having to do this with what you have available to you if you want to remain dead. You cannot requisition anything from the Storm's Repose as dead folk.
I don't know. Let's bring Riza in on this. This whole gambit.
Just cuz.
Good.
Hey, you're a real big fan of ours. Let's
fan of
Yeah.
3/4 of us.
The only one she demonstrably doesn't like.
If you want
I
to
think
bring
we're fast friends.
Kala more deeply in on this, she could probably get you supplies.
I was just thinking that, yes. I say,
I mean, and we promised we would tell her everything that was going on anyway. Like, I'm sure she had to go back to work, but like, we can get her back down here when she has another break to fill her in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did say grab drinks and talk about it, quote, quote, quote.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't specify what kind of drinks or
and who was grabbing the drinks. Hey, grab us drinks and bring them here. So we can.
I think we maybe assumed that we were going to stop being dead sooner.
Yeah.
We did. There are drinks down here. I don't know why everybody's
it's only the
fussing
tall
about it.
None of us are drinking that.
Doesn't agree with my stomach.
It doesn't
It would
agree with
probably
anyone's
kill me. I'm
stomach.
surprised it hasn't killed you.
It doesn't agree with organic matter, as far as I understand.
It's a wood varnish, isn't it?
It has many practical uses. Thank you very much.
It's like almost all of the drugs in the Star Wars RPG are just derivatives of like ship paint.
Yep.
Nice. The other kind of issue beyond that too is even if we can keep from being monitored, do we just stroll into this secret base like hey, what's up? We're maintenance folk here to check the plumbing.
My name is Cromwell Silvaro. How are you doing?
It would have to be Oswald.
Just a routine maintenance check. Don't mind me.
If that's what you tried to pull, I would just be like in the background. I give up. I give up.
Now,
sir, we need to like verify your. No, don't do that.
Absolutely unnecessary. I think my word speaks.
Now, we're having a lot of fun, but it's not the worst idea Because, like, I could, like, how long? I mean, I can just do it with XP. Like, I could just do a spellcraft that's disguise self.
I suppose. I also
we could also combine that with the fact that Kala did some fake like credentials for stuff on.
Why would he go to this weird base in the middle of nowhere?
I'm not saying we go as Cromwell. That's absurd.
Let's go as like we go as Cromwell.
Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay, fucking A.
This is a great idea.
So
Yeah,
on
Cromwell's
one
here.
hand, you have the
We'll all
suggestion-
go as Cromwell.
You have the suggestion
They
to show
can't
up
say no
as
to that.
Cromwell Silvaro, CEO of Aegis Tech Solutions,
That, and again, that is also not what I was saying.
on a slightly parallel track. You have the suggestion of faking the credentials of some sort of Aegis Tech team or employees of some sort in order to infiltrate this base.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is actually what we should do.
Yeah.
Now, but hang on. If we show up, all of us as Cromwell Silvaro, do we have
if we
4
all show up
times?
as
Oh, yeah.
The like,
which
go
one
ahead.
is the real me?
We can't say no
Use
to
a
all of them.
gun.
Ask me anything you want about Aegis Tech
shout out.
Solutions.
Shout out to the game that I literally just this morning discovered was a game, which is called Four Sherlock Holmeses and a Vampire, parentheses, one of whom is the aforementioned Sherlock Holmes, for Cromwell Silvaros and a vampire.
4 Sherlocks and a Dracula, but yes.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I think we have more power with one of those options.
Yes, the Cromwell.
The Cromwell one, obviously, yeah.
Unlimited power, you might say.
Mhm.
Oh.
But no, that's not a bad idea, actually. Well,
What is the disguise self is the one that's just for you. What's the one where you can disguise other people?
Doesn't matter.
I'm
There's
trying to
Dungeons
look-
and Dragons.
yeah.
Well, I know, but like, just I want to have something to look at that has similar like
Seeming.
effects, and I just seeming. Okay,
Yeah.
I just don't remember what it's called.
But if you
Stop
want-
trying to port everything into 5e, Elliot. Come on.
I am not. I just want to have. I want to have wording that I can refer to, so I'm not just like. This is a podcast. We're here to entertain people, okay?
I stopped doing that years ago.
We know.
You didn't start doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, I was talking about before I started the podcast. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I was probably about 14. Yeah. Yeah.
Came out of the birth. What? Okay. So yeah, something like being able to change the appearance of any number of creatures that you can see, new illusory appearances, and probably just using the same stuff that is in the general disguise self. So like we could make us ourselves up to 1 foot shorter or taller, but it would be illusory. Basically,
So
I'll call it something like what's the glamour, something like that.
Perfectly reasonable. And the better you roll, the less likely it is people will see through it.
Right.
Don't roll a 5.
On
On a d20, that wouldn't matter, yeah.
As you are putting all of this together, bringing Kala more deeply into your councils and attempting to figure out precisely what your next move is, some combination of illusion magic, faked credentials, possible signal jamming on the part of the Tiresian, all in an attempt to infiltrate the secret ice station located on the 3rd world of the Noku system. There, where Aegis Tech Solutions is committing some kind of Fey/Cogrish research in some attempt to complete the continuing mystery that is Project Chimera. With that plan and your first self-determined mission now in your sights, I think what comes next will wait until next time, because Oracle Zero, you are now setting your sights on directly confronting that entity which has haunted your shadows for this entire campaign. It is time to bring the fight to Aegis Tech Solutions, it seems.
Yes.
Because as always, you can find us online at MatcomRPG on Twitter and Instagram. You can also email us at materialcomponentsrpg@gmail.com. We always love hearing from all of our listeners.
You can find me on Twitter at CryOutOlivia. I am always there talking about D&D and other RPGs and also just a lot of other nerd stuff. So come hang out.
You can find me on Twitter at Elliot C. Lewis. I'm an illustrator and graphic designer, doing a lot of tabletop RPG and other fan art. You can also support me on Patreon and Ko-fi. Links to both of those are in my Twitter profile.
You can find me at The Readamus on Instagram and Twitter, where I post jokes and lots of photos of nature, so come check it out.
And you cannot find me on social media, but what you can do is support our show by rating and reviewing it on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Please, please, please do so.
Indeed, and finally, you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at MKGorgoni, where I'm always happy to talk about all things material components. But as always, the world is chaos, so please, be kind to each other. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.